tabia zako ziko chini, unapenda kulipa hongo na kutumia njia za uongo, una mipango na hata watoto wa kando, haujui hata majina yao. Kura yako uliuza maini figo, ukakulia hadi dini, kisha wasema tukuthamini, na wewe hapo hauaminiki, na wewe hapo haupangiki.
Wapi kidero when you need to slap somebody? Complain ufisadi kwani ulidhani t-shirt 50 bob leso siku ya campaign ilikuwa free? Ni 5 year loan investment utalipa king ya parliament. We are one, amani we are one. Na utumishi kwa wote, utu missing CCTV we were watching. Racial insecurity na job opportunity ni kama mti ya kibiriti. Side moja heavy, usiniambie Kenya kuna umaskini, kwani hizi fat fingers zinaibia nane? Maskando inatuleta wa survival. Media define leadership, na sura ukiaka front page na improve readership. Ambia wase wa Twitter wa hashtag hii ama hash reality doesn't make a good TT. Commission of inquiry wanakula commission bila kutupa ukweli, ni kubaya. Baka kukiwa kuzuri unashindwa nini mbaya. Machozi ya perpetrator ineza dilute damu ya victim ilimwagika. After all is said and done, all will be said, nothing will be done. You're not my tribe, but you're my blood type. Like it doesn't have to take tragedy to know that.
Sheria
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is our first show of the year 2025, and this is WaNjeri right here with you on Sheria Dive. And if you thought we'd forgotten about the law, ole wako. Fantastic to be back on air. A lot has happened. We're going to be talking about that over the next few weeks. But of course, I'd like to find out how you're doing. How is your new year? Remember to call Kenya. In Kenya, it's New Year until Valentine's Day. After Valentine's Day, now the year has stopped being new. So even now, you can still, tell people, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. How are you? Tuko pamoja. Pokeeni salamu from Flozy and I here in studio, and we have a fantastic show lined up for you. We're going to be discussing some of the things that are happening in the country. And of course, asking the question, coffins and cartoons, caricatures, is that taking freedom of expression? Is that taking free speech too far? The country has been caught up in a crisis that has been brought about, apparently, by the extended use of freedom of speech by Kenyan citizens against the government and especially against the president. And we're going to be just discussing about that. But before we get to that, I'd like to find out how you're doing. Where are you and where are you listening to us from? Today, I've told Flows we have to make it a very lovely playlist. So let's see what she comes up with. I want you to start your Monday just feeling nice. If you're in a matatu, you're going home. If you're in the car, if you're at home, wherever you are, I just want you to have a fantastic time as we get into this show today, of course. Remember, this is Sheria Dive right here on Power Radio. And what do we do here? Hapa nyuma yangu ukiangalia. You tune in and we power up. Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
This is Hendrix Sound.
Halo, nimekuja na tangazo. Muoneni kwa macho. Ameifunga milango ya roho yangu mama. Girl, I wanna show you all. show you off, show you off. Unawa finish kumalo. Girl, I wanna show you off, show you off, show you off. Unawa finish kumalo. No, 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 no. Roho zimegongana. Ini ajali ya mapenzi. Si tulishapendana. Ananienzi na muenzi. Alivyoumbika mashallah. Katoto kanyota yani star. Kanaleta mwangaza. Sitaki kupoteza makita. Wachani ringi ya dunia. Halo, halo, nimekuja na tangazo. Muoneni kwa macho. Ameifunga milango ya roho yangu mama. Girl, I wanna show you off, show you off, show you off. Unawa finish kumalo. Girl, I wanna show you off, show you off, show you off. Unawa finish kumalo. Mapenzi yameja kwa hewa. Zimatana upunguze esi. Ni nani aliyekukera? Anaishi wapi nimtumie jeshi? Liapa sitapenda tena. Lakini leo nafungua kesi. Songea karibu upesi. Sensi jukati yetu kuna 0 centimeter. Hakuna kilomita. Kiuno chako kinanita naitika. Moyo wangu sinyorita. Kati yetu kuna 0 centimeter. Hakuna kilomita. Kiuno chako kinanita naitika. Moyo wangu sinyorita. Halo, halo, nimekuja na tangazo. Muoneni kwa macho. Ameifunga milango ya roho yangu mama. Girl, I wanna show you off, show you off, show you off. Unawa finish kumalo. Girl, I wanna show you off, show you off, show you off. Unawa finish kumalo. Harusi tunayo hatuna. Harusi tunayo hatuna. Mapenzi tunayo hatuna. Mapenzi tunayo hatuna. Na 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 na.
And of course, kicking off the show is Show You Off by Mr. Savara. How are you guys feeling the Saudi Soul solo careers? How are they doing? I feel like Bien, of course, has taken off, as it always happens. But I don't know. How are you feeling about the artists and some of the songs that they're producing? That's Savara with Show You Off. And who knows, maybe get to play a few of those other songs here. But, ladies and gentlemen, unless you've been living under a rock, you know a lot has been happening in Kenya. Now, the president of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, has been contending with critics, especially in the online space. And that criticism of the president has taken different shapes and forms. Now, over time, I think we started by calling him Arap Mashamba. You remember the Arap Mashamba days because he was always involved in a land scandal. One land scandal after the other. Then kidogo, I think he became ule mtu wa kutenga. You know, the guy would always say tumetenga bilioni 5 ya kutoa watu wa boda boda. And people always asking, tumetenga sana, where is it? We can't see the utengano. Then, of course, I think he becomes president, and people say, okay, man, you've been lying too much. Then, I think as of last year, he becomes Mr. Kasongo. I don't know why Kibet Bull decided to christen him Kasongo. But that is the name he was given. And of course, we started seeing caricatures, cartoons coming up with the president that were being shared online. And this criticism seems to be rubbing off the president wrong. And he's actually come out very publicly to just speak against it. And I think there is a clip that has been doing rounds on social media where the president is speaking to people in the Rift Valley. I can't remember where in the Rift Valley, maybe it was Baringo. And he's speaking in his vernacular and he's telling them that those people who are putting me in coffins, you try and do that, you'll be the first one to get into a coffin. And I wish that someone would remind him, Mr. President, you've already put 60 Kenyans in coffins because of the protests. But, well, what do I know? So, ladies and gentlemen, the question I'm asking us today is, these coffins and Kasongo and the cartoons, what do you guys feel? Are we abusing, the freedom of speech? Or is this just an overreaction by the political class? And of course, you know that those who have been very vocal against the government have unfortunately found themselves as victims of abductions. Abductions are illegal in Kenya. So Kenya finds itself at a crossroads in the sense that on one hand, politicians are saying you need to respect us. On the other hand, the people are saying, what have you done for us to respect you? And the question of morals has come up. And if a politician comes to tell you need to be respectful and need to have morals, and the person is also stealing taxes and, building his generational wealth using public resources, denying you critical care in hospital, denying you medicine, denying you good roads, denying you piped water to your house, should such a person really have any moral authority to tell you who you need to respect and how you need to be? So Kenya is actually finding itself in a space where the politicians on one side and the people on the other side. And of course, we do not have an official opposition no longer. We no longer have an official opposition in Kenya because the opposition party has been co-opted into government. They have their people in government in what we are calling the broad-based government. And so now it looks like the people feel like they are on their own, Ni sisi tumesimama hapa na ni sisi tunasema venye kutaenda hapa. And it's getting worse and worse because you'll remember last year after the Maandamano, it even became almost impossible for the president to make his rounds all over the world as he had been doing. He cut down his travel significantly. But then also after some time, it also became very difficult for the president to even address people in public. We've had the president being booed. All these things. Kenya is a country where we've often prided ourselves in our democracy and in our human rights and in our inclusivity and in our ability to actually, speak truth to power. But the question I'm asking us today, coffins, cartoons, do you believe or do you agree with the assessment that is being made by some people that those things constitute an abuse of free speech? That's the question I'm asking today. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not ready for what I'm about to tell you with respect to one Mr. Robert Alai and how he helps us to answer this question. Keep it here. But for now, there's a beautiful song here I'd like us to listen to by one Mr. Gademia. If you've not heard this song, this gentleman is a Kenyan recording artist. His name is Gademia Gadhuru. Actually, it's Gadhuru Gitema. And this song is Kweli. Let's go.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Kweli nilikupenda, nikawambia wengi sitawahi kutenga. But lately unajipenda, no wonder huelewi unanitesa. I got the feeling that I'm missing your timing, really. So, 'cause in your mind, I am missing the right so in a way man should go home. I'm fine if you're leaving now. Won't waste my time thinking how you could love somebody right and they leave you with you alive. Kweli nilikupenda, nikawambia wengi sitawahi kutenga, but lately unajipenda. No wonder who you live, not this. It's you all the time, baby, it's you all the goddamn time. Everything I do is never done right, baby, it's you, oh you. It's you all the time, baby, it's you all the goddamn time. Everything I do is never done right, baby, it's you, oh you. She says she's okay. I don't believe her. There's just something about the way she turned her back on me. I know in my mind I'll never leave her. There's just something about the way we love each other right. And even though we fight all night and day, I know sometimes in love there can be pain. And even though we need a little break, I know that you'll come back to me. You know that I'll come back to you, 'cause that's when you'll start to feel my love. Feel it, that's when you feel it. That's when you'll start to feel my love. Feel it, that's when you feel it. Na 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 na. Usiponipenda nitapendwa na nani? Nitakuwa mgeni wa nani? Ukiwa mbali nami nabaki tabani. Ona nahisi kisirani, hawa haina maana. Mimi na wewe kuzozana, mbona tunasimangana? Hatuwezi semezana, my love, haina maana. Mimi na wewe kuzozana, mbona tunasimangana? Hatuwezi semezana. And even though we fight all night and day, I know sometimes in love there can be pain. And even though we need a break, I know that you come back to me. And you know that I'll come back to you. That's when you start to feel my love. Feel it, that's when you feel it. That's when you start to feel my love. Feel it, that's when you feel it. And even if we fight all night and day, I know sometimes in love there can be pain. And even if we need a little break, I know that you come back to me. You know that I'll come back to you. And That's when you start to feel my love.
That's Feel My Love by Sauti Soul. And I was asking that question earlier. Sauti Soul, man. I'm not feeling the breakup, but that's not the topic of discussion today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about coffins, cartoons, caricatures. Have we gone too far with the expression of freedom of speech? Now, you know, in this show, what we do is we look at society through the legal lens. We ask ourselves, the things that are happening, what does the law actually provide? Or what are some of the ways the law suggests that issues or matters should be dealt with? Now, on 17th December 2014, a gentleman known as Robert Alai, and Robert Alai is now a member of the County Assembly with the ODM party, representing Kileleshwa, I believe Kileleshwa Ward. He was arraigned before the Chief Magistrate's Court at Kiambu, and he was charged with the offense of undermining the authority of a public officer, which was contrary to Section 132 of the Penal Code. Now, according to the charge sheet, he stated on Twitter, X now, it used to be called Twitter, he stated, "Insulting Raila is what Uhuru can do. He hasn't realized the value of the presidency. Adolescent president. This seat needs maturity." And that was Robert Alai's tweet against Uhuru Kenyatta, who was the then president at the time that that tweet was actually being made. And according to the police and the prosecutor, that publication was calculated to bring into contempt the lawful authority of the President of the Republic of Kenya. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is, or rather, Section 132 of the Penal Code provided for an offense which was known as undermining the authority of a public officer. Now, this offense has been used to jail or even sometimes to prosecute people who have said things against the president, said things against a public officer, even against a police officer, you know. And it has mostly been used against people who post things on Facebook, okay? Now, according to Inspector Maureen Kioko, who is a member of the National Police Service, they received information on 15th December that Robert Alai had posted on Facebook words that were deemed to be an insult to the president. Investigations were then conducted, witnesses interviewed, and evidence gathered. The file was then later sent to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, and charges were preferred against Robert Alai as recommended by the Office of the DPP. Now, Robert Alai then files a petition to the High Court of Kenya, a constitutional petition, and one of the things he seeks to do is to have the court declare that Section 132 of the Penal Code to be unconstitutional. Okay? And his argument is this. Through his lawyer, one Mr. Elisha Ongoya, he argued that that offense of undermining the authority of a public officer was a law that was enacted at the height of the state of emergency and it was meant to deal with a specific situation at the time. Further, the problem with that section is that it shifted the burden of proof. And of course, those who've listened to this show before, you know, when we talk about the burden of proof, we're saying who has the responsibility to prove what they're saying? Who has the responsibility? That's the burden, okay? And according to him, he said, it shifted the burden of proof to the accused person. And in Kenya's new constitutional dispensation, such a section or such an offense could not be allowed, or, you know, it cannot work in a constitutional state like Kenya. And according to Mr. Ongoya, he said, people expressing themselves about their government or public officers should not stand to be charged for criticizing their government or the public officers. In his mind, a provision which would force people to speak in low tones in a democratic society is unconstitutional. Further, this Section 132 the offense of undermining the authority of a public officer, it limited the freedom of expression contrary to Article 23 of the Constitution. And therefore, there was a limitation to the freedom of expression which has been done, yes, by a law, but was that law reasonable and was it justifiable? Okay? Now today, of course, if you listen to Robert Alai, he'll tell you that what the kids are doing is wrong. He's forgotten what he did 10 years ago. Okay? This is a case we are dealing with today. And the question we want to ask ourselves is, when it comes to criticism of public officers, when it comes to criticism of people like the president, ministers, members of parliament, what actually does the law provide? Are you allowed to criticize the president? And is criticizing the president, is putting him in a coffin, is calling him Kasongo, is calling him Arab Singh, Arab Mashamba, all these words. When you use such terms against the person of the president, or against a politician, or against a public officer, are you breaking the law? Are you pushing the boundaries of freedom of speech too far? That's the question you ask. And of course, I'll be looking out for your comments. If you have any comments, any thoughts on today's topic, please put it up there and I'll be reading it even as we continue with this discussion. But for now, let's get some music, and then when we come back, we'll look at the government's response. Remember, Mr. Ongoy, on behalf of Robert Alai, has said this limitation that is being brought by the law, it is not justifiable. It is not constitutional. So we have to declare that section unconstitutional. So what did the government on its part say? This is in part to help us understand what do the courts look at when it comes to questions of freedom of expression. Let's get some music.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
And on the daily, kosa sio hoja, zaidi ya kukupenda. Vipi nikatupa ndoto tulizoziota. Uliniwasha nare, enzi zetu za kupare. Kwa mvinyo na makale, magizani hadi ngware. Nikijifanya dakitare, wa mabinti wale, wenye shepu za hatare. Nikapotelea ndane, ila mwambie nampenda. Roho ya mtamani bado nampenda. Ukimwona mwambie nampenda. Roho ya mtamani bado nampenda. Ukimwona roho sawa na mabua. I can't help but miss you every morning. Vile unapendeza, kama ningeweza jua yepi ya kutarajia, nisingejipata mashakani kwa niliyoyatenda. Ninayempenda ni wewe, hakuna mwingine wa kubadili penzi. Ningependa tuelewane, kiburi kisinikosanishe nawe. Uliniwasha pale na sikushika nare, ukanisema kwa jirani kwamba mimi kisirane. Aibu za hadharani, vile penzi hatari. Njoo unipe amani kama hapo zamani. Mwambie nampenda, oh yeah. Roho ya mtamani bado nampenda. Ukimwona mwambie nampenda. Roho ya mtamani bado nampenda.
of my fantasy. Let your soul feel this harmony. Push it closer, call it to zoom. Let me ignite every part of you. Spell it out, mama, tell me what you're feeling. Let my actions be what you're thinking.
Cause it tastes like sugar and spice and everything nice. Close your eyes, I'll make you realize you're winning in life, yeah. You're winning in life. You taste like sugar and spice and everything nice. Close your eyes, I'll make you realize you're winning in life, yeah. You're winning in life.
Call me a number one, baby, you can call me a Superman. Chochote utataka nitakupa ma. You're my girl.
Call me a number one. Baby, you can call me a supergirl. Chochote unataka nitakupa, nitakupa. You're my man. I wanna climb to the top of the mountain. Let you cruise on this endless sea. Open up the windows to your soul. I want you to see what you do to me. Watch my spirit melt into your arms. Freeze this time so we'll never be apart, baby. I know you're comfortable under my skin, so don't let go. Hold me close, let the energy flow from my head to my toes. Like this split, let's get lit. Wake back up, then we do it again, baby.
Call me a number one, baby, you can call me a Superman. Chochote utataka nitakupa ma. You're my girl.
Call me a number one. Baby, you can call me a supergirl. Chochote unataka nitakupa, nitakupa. You're my man.
Somebody call for my girl, call for my cure, call for my lover. Cause when the sun lights at west side, you're always gonna be my number one.
Somebody call for my man, call for me cure, call for my lover. Cause when the sunlight is at west side, you're always gonna be my number one. Tell me how you want it, daddy. Tell me how you want it, papi. Tell me what you want, I'ma make you happy. I'll make you happy, I'ma make you happy.
Tell me how you want it, mommy. Tell me how you want it, mommy. Tell me what you want, I'ma make you happy. I'll make you happy, I'ma make you happy.
Tell me how you want it, baby. Tell me how you want it, baby. Tell me what you want, I'ma make you happy. I'll make you happy, I'ma make you happy. Tell me how you want it, baby. Tell me how you want it, baby. Tell me what you want, I'ma make you happy. I'll make you happy, I'ma make you happy. Tell me how you want it, baby. Tell me how you want it, baby. Tell me what you want, I'ma make you happy. I'll make you happy, I'ma make you happy.
Go look for this song, number one by LeBand, because there is a comment there on YouTube. Just go look at the YouTube comments for this video. I'm not going to tell you what it says, but I think immediately you see it, you'll know which one it is. That's LeBand with The One. Fantastic song. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about this idea of undermining the authority of a public officer and how one Robert Alai actually went to court to challenge that section of the law, which was section 132 of the Penal Code. And that section basically said that if you look at section 132, it says, any person who, without lawful excuse, the burden of proof shall be upon him, utters, prints, publishes any words, or does any act or thing calculated to bring into contempt or to excite defiance of or disobedience to the lawful authority of a public officer is guilty of offense and is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years. All right? Now, according to the police said that Article 33 of the Constitution, which speaks about freedom of speech, does not provide an absolute right. It is not an absolute right. it has limitations, okay? Now, according to them, they said that Mr. Alai needed to show that his rights had been violated, okay? And further, Section 132 did not shield public officers from criticism, and it does not contravene Article 33 of the Constitution on freedom of speech, all right? The other thing as well is that on the question of the burden of proof, because remember what it says is that the burden of proof will be on you. It's upon you to show that I was not doing this to bring disrepute or to, to bring contempt on a public officer, all right, on the authority. So it's your responsibility. Umepelekwa kotini. Now the court starts from assuming you did it, and now you have to show, no, that is not what I did, all right? The DPP as well also agreed with this, and he said that Section 132 was there to preserve the dignity of public officers, okay? Therefore, if you do not protect public officers from, speech that maybe dehumanizes them, speech that brings their authority into contempt, things that are calculated to harm a public officer, then that way you are also violating their rights of those public officers. Now, the court begins by looking at this matter and saying that when we talk about freedom of expression, Article 33 says that every person has the right to freedom of expression, which includes, number one, freedom to seek, receive, import information or ideas. 2, freedom of artistic creativity. And 3, academic freedom and freedom of scientific research. The right to freedom of expression does not extend to, these are now some of the limitations. So you cannot use it for propaganda for war, incitement to violence, hate speech, or advocacy of hatred that constitutes ethnic incitement, vilification of others, or incitement to cause harm, or is based on any ground of discrimination specified or contemplated in Article 27(4). And finally, in the exercise of the right to freedom of expression, every person shall respect the rights and reputation of others. If you look at Article 27(4), some of the limitations are based on race. You cannot discriminate someone on the basis of race, sex, pregnancy, mental status, health status, ethnic or social origin, color, age, among others. Now, in this case, the crime committed by Mr. Robert Alai was that his publication of those words was calculated to undermine the authority of a public officer, in this case being the president. And the court begins by saying that Kenya is a democratic state with a democratically elected leadership. The people of Kenya have a democratic right to discuss affairs of their government and leadership because of their right to freedom of expression guaranteed by Article 33 of the Constitution. They cannot be freely expressing themselves if they do not criticize or comment about their leaders and public officers. Okay? Now, the court further was of the view that it must be appreciated that only through public criticism do students make their leaders know that certain actions may not be in the interest of the nation, and such criticism helps public officers understand the feelings of the citizens. And following this criticism, leaders may act to address the concerns the criticism is directed at. So what the court is saying here is you cannot have a proper democracy without criticism. And criticism is one of the tools that is used by the citizens to show the leaders, to show those in power, hey, this is what we feel about you. This is what we believe about you. These are the things. All right? And that, in effect, should count as feedback, which then causes the leadership to say, hey, okay, this is how the people feel. So how can we serve them better? Or what do we need to change? All right? In a democratic society, It is not necessary that everyone should sing the same song. Freedom of expression is a rule and is generally taken for granted. Everyone has a fundamental right to form his own opinion on any issue of general concern. He can form and inform by any legitimate means. And in the eyes of the court, public officers have to tolerate criticism in an open and democratic society because people usually exercise the right granted to them by the Constitution. And a law's purpose should not be to suppress this right. This is what the court said, that you cannot use a law to suppress a right, especially when it comes to matters of free speech. And that was Alai's argument as well, that, hey, this law is being used to deny me my opportunity to speak my mind. Now, one of the things that was a problem with this section 132 was that it says undermining authority of a public officer. What exactly does that mean? And for a long time, we've actually had laws that are very ambiguous. You can't really tell for sure, what does this law say? So what does it mean to undermine the authority of a public officer? And perhaps the question even to add to that as we talk about this is, if you put someone in a coffin, they are alive. We can see them on TV. They come on TV, they make speeches. We see them every day. They are clearly not dead. Have you undermined the authority? Okay? If you draw someone as a cartoon and you put it online and you share it, how have you undermined that person's authority? The thing we need to understand is that the law also creates an obligation. Under Article 73 of the Constitution, the authority that is assigned to a state officer, whether you're the president, you're the member of parliament, you work in the civil service, as long as you're a public officer, it is the authority of public trust, and it must be expressed in a manner consistent with the purposes and objects of the Constitution. That authority must be used to demonstrate respect for the people, bring honor to the nation, and dignity to the office. And it vests in the state officer the responsibility to serve people rather than the power to rule them. That is what Article 73 of the Constitution provides. Therefore, Kenya's Constitution looks at a situation where public office, places on the public officer the responsibility to have servant leadership. Therefore, the right to criticize public officers should not be criminalized merely as a means of suppressing dissent. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Do you agree with this? Do you agree with the caricatures that have been done? Do you agree with the videos that have been shared? And now, there's even artificial intelligence. We have AI videos that are being shared. And perhaps the question to ask ourselves is, why is it that people are feeling they need to resort to such matters? Also looking at the reality of the fact that while our politicians are talking about being put in coffins, the reality is that there are many Kenyans who have actually been put inside coffins by this government. Protesters shot in the streets just for going for a protest. Not harming anyone. They did not have weapons, but they were just shot for turning up. Let's get some music, and then when we come back, we look at what was the final outcome in this case. What did the court say when we look at this question of criticizing public officers? And why should our politicians just grow some thick skin? Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Some days you feel like the world is on fire. Some days you feel like you're swimming and flying. Some days you wake up and you don't feel like you wanna chase what you don't see. But some days you feel like you're floating up high. So how about you try this time? Lift lifting up your head and sing out. What more than I see, there's more inside of me. Just lift up your voice and say, nitajaribu tena kesho, nitaamka upya na nisonge, hata wakipenda kunivunja, mambo yakizidi unga, sitashindwa kujivuta, kesho naamka upya, kesho naamka upya. Some days I know that you think of surviving, but you sleep and wake up and don't feel like fighting. But there's space in your soul to keep wanting more, to desire to soar. But some days you know that their words, they mean nothing. So how about you try this time? Lifting up your head and say, what more than I see, there's more inside of me. Just lift up your voice and say, nitajaribu tena kesho, nitaamka upya na nisonge, hata wakipenda kunivunja, mambo yakizidi unga, sitashindwa kujivuta, kesho naamka upya.
Of course, Bridget Blue with Kesho. Na Flozia memo tutasikiza tu ngoma zote hapa. You know, it's like, just play the music. That's Bridget Blue with Kesho. And of course, as I always say, if you hear some of these artists for the first time, make sure you go look for them online, get them, listen to their music, go to their shows, and listen to all that. Ladies and gentlemen, in this case, the High Court of Kenya, in declaring Section 132 of the Penal Code to be against the Constitution, to be unconstitutional and invalid, consider the reality that in a democratic society, people are going to have something to say. And people must be allowed to say what they want to say. Because oftentimes, the way democracy is structured and the way we often find ourselves, even in our countries, is that many times the only thing people have left is their speech. For instance, today in Kenya, we do not have a proper opposition. The opposition has been co-opted. So in a sense, you have everyone sitting at the same table eating, and the citizens are outside watching as the leaders, the elite, as they dine. So that means that they must be given an opportunity. The people must be given an opportunity to speak their mind. And the Constitution is very clear. That right is not, it's not unlimited. Okay? It's a right that comes with certain limitations. But those limitations have also been put in there by the Constitution to be limitations that are sensible. You cannot incite people to war. You cannot incite people to hate. Now, for whatever reason in this part of the world, politicians seem to want to be worshipped and to be praised and to be loved all the time. And anytime someone says anything that is against politicians or it's against a certain political group or outfit, you find that the response is often almost brutal. And in Kenya, it has been very brutal. Many of these critics have been arrested, have been abducted, have been taken to dark rooms. They've been victims of torture. In 2025, guys, we are still torturing people in Kenya in 2025. These are things we used to read about in the 90s, about how Moi in the 80s and 90s would take people and take them to the torture chambers. It's a reminder for us as a nation that we haven't moved as far as we actually thought we had. And our democracy is under attack. Our democracy is under attack. And the call then is for us as a society to be able to say, this we cannot accept, this we cannot say yes to say, this is where it stops. Enough is enough. Because it starts with one, then two, and one day you just discover you've even forgotten how to use your voice because you're in a country where every time you try to speak, then you're stifled or you're held down, you're beaten, you're abducted, and sometimes you're even killed. And for leaders must understand that what the Constitution demands is servant leadership. Serve the people. The people are not there to love you. They've given you the mandate through the ballot. Your work is to actually deliver results for them and to take their criticism, to listen to what they're saying, to treat their thoughts and their ideas, their worries and their concerns, to treat them seriously. So, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to keep our eyes open on what happens this year. The politicians have taken a very hard stance against those they claim to be, writing things that they do not agree with or writing things that they consider disrespectful. But I'll end with those words of Justice Chacha Mwita, who was given an opportunity to deal with this matter. And he says very clearly that when it comes to matters of leadership, when it comes to matters of the citizens speaking their mind, this is what Justice Chacha Mwita says. It must be appreciated that only through public criticism do citizens make their leaders know that certain actions may not be in the interest of the nation. And such criticism helps public officers understand the feelings of the citizens. And following this criticism, leaders may act to address the concerns the criticism is directed at. More importantly, public officers have to tolerate criticism in an open and democratic state because people usually exercise the right granted to them by the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 p.m. See you on Saturday. We'll be right here between 1 and 3 p.m. as we take a deeper dive into Sheria Dive. Right here with me, Mr. WaNjeri, Wakili, on the radio. Have a fantastic evening and a lovely week coming ahead. And of course, remember, drink a lot of water. The sun is really hot, so you need to hydrate a lot. Just make sure you're getting enough water. We need you for the long haul and for the journey. And from me in studio together with Flozy here, we wish you a lovely week. God bless you.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Tunapita kama moshi na kabla tuzame mchangani, kuna kushinda na kufeli. Inabidi ujijue tofauti ya mwalimu na mwanafunzi ni ujuzi na ujuaji. Oh, it's unbelievable that we make it this far. Undeniable, we see the promised land from above, and it's so beautiful. No, they can't touch the fire, and you know it's not in vain. Steady tripping through the pain. Oh, man. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the
far. So beautiful, they gon' know who we are. They keep on walking in the rain. Kuna blessings in the pain. Whoa. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady, ready, 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 ready. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion. It's on our road to Zion. Nothing will ever deny us. Whatever it takes, keep on rocking. Whatever it takes, keep on moving. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Yeah, 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 yeah. Rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.